Welcome back to another episode of Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox Central. Time we got to get used to putting the Cubs first because they keep winning and the White Sox keep losing. We're going to talk about both teams right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for all Chicago baseball. Let's start the show.
All right. Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox Central is your host, Big Bro, along with the other host, Pacman. We in the building, man. We are excited today. We're going to start off with the Cubs. Before we do that, y'all see right at the bottom of the screen, hit us up on the phone, 773-389-6954. Leave some voicemails. We got enough games in the season now. Y'all can call us and start talking about the Cubs and start talking about the White Sox. It's going to be good and bad. I already know. You can also hit us up at ChicagoBaseballCentral@gmail.com. And if you like what you hear and see from us, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Pacman, you couldn't have even predicted that the Cubs was going to start off the season this well, though. No, but I mean, like we both said at the beginning of the season that the Cubs are better than people think. But this good, my guy, they sweep the Oakland A's. They're a bad team, but hey, you got to beat the teams that's in front of you. And they are winners of 10 out of their last 13 games, man. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. I wanted them to be competitive. I wanted to see how the roster construction would go up against, especially the Dodgers and the Rangers. I wanted to see where they would get against those teams. But I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed, man. And it's a trickle-down effect from like the players. Marcus Stroman, big up everybody. You know, he putting those words of inspiration every day, telling this rotation is nasty. We got the best rotation in the league. And guess what? They is the number one rotation in MLB.
Yes, and today we had Steele out there just taking care of business with 6 innings pitched, 4 hits given up, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run, and just 2 walks in the Chicago Cubs 10-2 victory. What was it, 12-2 after it was all said and done? Because they had to play the top of the ninth. So 12-2 victory over the Oakland A's, man. Them A's are bad. I look at the White Sox and like, well, at least we ain't that bad. Because Jesus, man, they are bad. But Steele is killing, Brody. He's got 11 straight starts with 2 earned runs or fewer. So obviously that goes back to last season, but he started the season off right where he left off.
Yeah, I mean, and it's the work with John Lester last year. You know, we give it up to the guys, and he had the baby. And usually, when you have a baby and become a first father, you start a, different mode that you get into, different thought process. But the start of this summer, like right at the end of June, he started working with John Lester. He was afraid to throw that slider on the inside on right-hand hitters. He got a little bit different grip on it, and he been lights out. Top 6 pitcher in ground ball, top 8 pitcher right now in baseball. What can you ask for? A prospect, homegrown guy who had the potential when they drafted him. Injuries derailed a lot of his career, but when he got up here, it was between him and Dylan Cease, and the Cubs preferred Steele over Dylan Cease. We see what Cease doing.
Yeah, Cease a dog, but hey, your boy doing all right too. Still doing his thing.
Doing all right too.
Yeah, and they're on a better team as of right now. Eads Instruments, what's up, my guy? We appreciate you for always rocking with all the Central channels. He says, how are the White Sox without La Russa? It's not looking good. It's looking pretty bad right now. We're going to talk about the White Sox later in the show, but let's get into some highlights, right? Let's see. Which one? So today,
load up the Hosmer home run.
We first we're gonna go with the first RBI today from Ian Happ.
Line drive, base hit out into right center field. Swanson around third. He's in to score. Another laser for Ian Happ, and it is 1-0 RBI double.
So there you have right there. Ian Happ got the Cubs started, and then pretty much that was the 4th inning. From the 4th inning forward, because it was 0-0 all the way to like the 4th inning, and then the Cubs kind of went crazy. After that Ian Happ situation, we had just all of this.
3-2 on the ground. Aguilar coming home, and Swanson scrambles in. It's 3-2 as Bellinger able to make contact and place it in a good spot. 1 out. Wisdom hits it well, right field. Going back, Capel. Capel back some more. It's over his head. In to score his hat. Bellinger racing for third. They're going to send him. Here comes the throw. It's cut off. And it ends up as a 2-run triple for Patrick Wisdom the other way.
All of the home runs, all of the power. I mean, this ball would have gone out of a lot of ballparks. It didn't go out, but it turned the right fielder completely around. All of a sudden, you know that Ian Happ's going to tag. He's going to score right behind his buddy.
Wild pitch and racing home is Wisdom, and they add on. It's 6-2.
Man, so like they just took off. They took off in that inning, man, and that's what they've been doing. They've been scoring in bunches, putting up football, scores, and it's been fun to watch. BLJ, the general, what's good? That's fam right there. He said the Oakland A's are terrible, so the Cubs handled business and destroyed them like they were supposed to do. The White Sox can't get timely hits to save their lives against a tough opponent in Philly. I agree with you. We're gonna get to the White Sox real quick. Real soon. He said, I'm more of a basketball fan, but Chicago Sports Center was something I enjoy watching. We definitely appreciate you, my guy. And then we got BLJ again saying, shout out to the Cubs hitting coach. He has done wonders making Ian Happ, Patrick Wisdom, and Cody Bellinger solid hitters. No way does Wisdom smash a double to right field like that last year. Those are all facts. We got a couple more highlights to get into before you respond to those comments, and then we'll get to the comments because you wanted to see this, and I'm definitely going to show it.
In the air, pretty well struck left center field, going back Ruiz, and that one is gone. Eric Hosmer, his first homer as a Cub. He'll circle the bases, the Cubs add on, and it's 7-2 as Hos goes deep.
Hosmer took care of business right there, and then the Cubs weren't done. They were not done. This one, I don't got the highlights from the last 2 runs, but I'm gonna show y'all the last 8th inning score that they did.
Drill towards right center field. That's going to split the gap, and it's going to bang up against the wall. Swanson is in. Happ is in. Bellinger will stop at third. No, he's coming home. 3 score on the play, and it's 10-2.
So that right there was a base clearing double, basically just blowing the game open even further. The Cubs attack on 2 more in the 9th inning to defeat the Oakland A's 12-2. Man, talk about it, Brody.
Man, what can you talk about? Like, one of your viewers just said it, man. Oakland is a terrible team, and they came in and took care of business. I said right before the series, this is the type of game could either be a trap or it could be a stat pattern. You want to have games like this where, you're working on your timing, you're working on your power. It gives you a little bit of a confidence boost, driving the ball to all fields. But the A's are comically bad, man. I was looking at one of the plays when Aguilar fielded that ball and went home. Like, why?
Yeah,
Hold the ball,
bad.
man. Why would you do that? The fielding with Ruiz out there, I'm like, man, this is, A's is running out double-A players and single-A players. Journeymen, whatever they could to build a team, but they need to move to Vegas really quick.
Real quick. It's on the horizon. And then you got the Cubs pitcher in general has been on fire. Stroman has been good. Wes Necky was able to get on track in this series, just like we discussed as well. It was the type of team he needed to face. And what I like is this double-digit hits again. It must be something in the California air. And then you also have excellent base running from the Cubs early this season when it comes to stolen bases. I think Horner is still leading the league in stolen bases. You got just base running in general. These guys are scoring from going from first to third, or even scoring from second base on a base hit. Things like that has been pretty nice to see for this young Cubs squad.
Yeah, you got to attribute to these coaches that somebody mentioned about I ain't helping the hitting coach. You got to give Johnny Washington his credit because that's the one that kind of fixed I ain't help, especially hitting right-handed last year, and also when he went to see the eye specialist too. But he fixed him hitting right-handed and made him like a very very professional, very consistent hitter on both sides of the plate.
So Eads is saying, hey, the Cubs are putting on a clinic. They sure did, but Oakland is just terrible, bro. And then we got watching the Cubs make two solid contact on 2 strike pitches and driving in runs with 2 outs is the key so far. They definitely been doing incredible with runners in scoring position. And my bad, my baby just showed up in the nude. It's the second drawer, the second one. Oh no, at the top, the second one from the top. There you go. Trying to get his PJs. But anyhow, they've been taking care of business and they've been killing with runners in scoring position. That's the total opposite of the White Sox, who we're going to get into in a second. And Stroman and Steele have been great so far this season, and that's without Kyle Hendricks, who's working his way back into the rotation in the next few weeks. That's a scary, scary sight. And if Wes Necky can get it together, oh my God, bro.
Yeah, I don't know who you displaced from the rotation. If Wineski, the problem is he didn't have command of his slider for the first few starts of the season. He had it when he versus the A's. He had some strikeouts, and I think this is confidence building for him. Now, if he go on another dominant run or a couple star dominant run, Hendrick already had a simulated start. They say he looked really good and looked like he's ready for the season, but he was still aiming for a May return. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with this rotation. Just.
They're going to have a fifth starter for sure.
Are you going to 6-man? Are you going to 6-man rotation? Are you bumping Wisniewski out, which could be the case if he have a okay next start or
maybe middle relief type stuff for one of these guys?
Yeah, I could see Wisniewski in the bullpen. I think his stuff plays up, especially the velocity that he gained and that slider. It's just that slider is just something special, man. It's just something that you want to see in that rotation, but I think the pitch mix that he has is causing him to hit chunks of his own. So
it's not power. He's not a power pitcher. He hit you with that sweeper and that slider and try to get you out of off balance.
Yeah, but now he got a power pitch. Now he throwing 96 miles an hour. He got a 94 sinker and a 96 mile an hour fastball out of nowhere.
Nasty. It's gonna be great to see him continue to develop. We got to talk about my White Sox, man.
Let's talk about them.
It's been
I got to talk some White Sox fan today too.
With the exception of the opening season series versus Houston, they haven't looked good since then. They had basically it went 2-2 against them, and they haven't won a series since then. They won a game series that they played since they played the Houston Astros, and that's not good. The White Sox lose 2 of 3. Pardon the typo. 2 of 3 versus the Phillies. They had a doubleheader yesterday. They lost the first one, even though they started off good again, getting early runs. They ended up giving it up, and then they ended up losing. Actually, no, that first game they actually tried to fight back, but ended up losing. Then they won 3-0, and then today they lost again. Lance Lynn was just looking terrible. He's having a rough start to the season. His game that he pitched yesterday was 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs given up. Untimely pitches, like every time it was the 2 times that they scored yesterday early, that man gave it up on 2 outs. He gave up hits on 2 outs with 2 on the first pitch. At that, like after striking somebody out, he just throw the first pitch and that next hitter would get the RBIs. It just wasn't looking good for Lance Lynn. But Giolito looking good, man. He's like the only one. Him and Dylan Cease, they trying. Giolito looked really good yesterday in 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs and 7 strikeouts. But man, it's not looking good. So my question for you, because they lost today as well. My question for you is can the White Sox turn things around? And it's more than just Tim Anderson and Moncada being out and Eloy out and in and out of the lineup. It's pitching, it's the bullpen, it's hitting, it's defense. Like it's a lot of holes on this White Sox team.
Yeah, so they have to shake this team up. They need to, what you don't want to say right now is go do an early trade to repair some of these things. Like You have to, because you need consistency from all across the board, and you can't blame injuries, because injuries is untimely and they can always happen. And the same guys that have been injured the last 6 seasons are continuing to get injured. So you need to shake things up. You need to make a splash, let the other players know, like, hey, we need to complete this year. We need to get deep in the playoffs this year. So we're going to make some trades to do it. And I'm saying making a trade between May and June to right the ship. Demote some guys, bench them. You got Jake Berger out here playing out of his mind right now.
Out of his mind.
Yeah, he just got up there. He's, mentally he was out of it. That's why he wasn't performing well. And now he's like in a good mental space after the injuries. And he's like this bat that they coveted for all of 6 years ago. And I was talking to a White Sox fan. I'm like, hey, y'all need to pull Eloy out of that run-producing spot. This man's slugging 400, 500.
And what is he batting, like sub 200 right now, or right at it?
No, he's like 185, I want to say.
So, yeah, he's sub 200. He bogus.
Yeah, it's okay. You got to get people consistent. But you gave Eloy a spot that was manned by somebody for 9 years with the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ghost of Abreu pass in this spot that you got to sit here and overproduce. One of the best clutch hitters y'all ever had on y'all team in history. One of the most professional hitters y'all ever had in history. And you putting this guy who probably barely in the last 5 seasons put together 2 seasons worth of hitting. So you're going to put him there and think he's supposed to come out the gate and hit. Mm-hmm. And it's not working. Drop him out that 4th spot. Put Berger in that 4th spot. Every game he driving in 2-3 runs.
He killing him and Vaughn killing.
Yeah, and look what they did. Benintendi, you put him in the leadoff spots. Mm-hmm. His whole season changed. What do you do when Tim Anderson come back? Do you put him back in the leadoff, or you put him at the number 2, or you put him in the number 3 spot?
They putting Tim Anderson right back at leadoff. That's not going to change.
Even though he's disruptive, he makes a lot of contact. He drives the ball the other way, and he disrupt on the bases. But you gotta change the perspective of the Grafal. This is a totally different team. You coming in with the 2022 lineup that La Russa had, putting Tim at the top, and then I got some toys and I'm gonna put them here. No, make this lineup to stretch out to your best hitters, and overload your best hitters in the run producing spots. You got Luis Roberts, move him out the number 2 spot, put him in a 4th spot. Do something to spark this lineup.
Robert then definitely came down to earth. He started the season off super hot, and he then cooled off a lot. BLJ, he says Giolito seats are solid. Lance Lynn will be designated for assignment or traded before the All-Star break. He is horrible, and I never knew the Sox would miss Tim Anderson this much. I don't know how you didn't know this.
You knew that. You knew that.
It's literally every season. It's like the last 3-4 seasons. He go out, and then the White Sox start losing.
You missed him in 2020. You missed him in 2021 when they miss him every time.
You missed him last season too, and the White Sox had a strong season all the way up until like September, and they fell off. But he missed a lot of games. Then he say, Eads Instruments is saying, did you guys hear that Peter is pushing the baseball to change the name of bullpen to arm barn? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I don't know. They may change it because I don't know if y'all remember a few years ago, they changed DL to IL, because of disabled list, because of mental, they didn't want to
talk about humans versus animals. Come on, Peter, y'all read stop.
Yeah, Peter gonna get their way. Turn it to arm barn. Like
what's wrong with him? Peter? I feel like everybody that worked at Peter is named Karen. So
pretty
look, he said, I like Tim Anderson at the 2 spot. He started to strike out and make a lot of solid contact, having protection behind him with Berger, and Robert would help. And then you also put Berger should be in the outfield or DH every day. That kid is raking right now. If Eloy isn't cutting it, put him as a rotational player. I totally agree with you, BLJ, on that one.
How are you going to put him as a rotational player? What you going to do? He's a DH type. You can't put him in. What you making him? A platoon
like
player?
Like the way they got Gavin Sheets right now. Like it's because right now, what do you put him at? Like if you're gonna put Berger at the DH, then where do you put Eloy?
You got to put him in the field.
And so, and then, okay, but that means no Burger in the field then, right? Or are they going to play, every 3-4 days and swap them out or something?
You don't need Burger in the field because he's probably worse than Aloy with the glove.
And Aloy, man, he got in the last couple of times he got injured was playing out in the outfield, running into walls and stuff.
When he had to go out for that week, he was playing right field. Like come on. So, and then he don't want to be a DH. I get it. Aloy is not a rotational player. Right now, you want him to get as many at bats as you can against tough opponents. I think right now to drop him in the lineup, drop him to the 5th spot, 6th spot, get his confidence back, start seeing different types of pitching. Man, if you even want to get a little sexy, you put him at the number 2. You put him at the 2 spot. Even though that's supposed to be your best hitter right there, that probably he might thrive there. But I think just that 4th spot and his connection with Jose Abreu from the last couple of years is probably weighing on the mentally. I tell people baseball is a real big mental sport. Anything can throw you off your game. So I don't believe he should be rotational or a platoon guy. That bat still playing the major leagues. He needs to be in a lineup every day, but just not where he at right now.
Facts. All right, man, we're going to wrap it up. We got the Cubs playing the Dodgers next, right? They're right back at the Dodgers. The Dodgers are coming to town to Chicago. And then the White Sox are playing the Tampa Bay Rays in their next series. They're off tomorrow, but the Cubs play tomorrow. And so tomorrow we should have a video up previewing the Cubs-Dodgers series. And then, of course, we'll do some post-game work because they're not going to be playing as late as they've been playing. Jesus, them games been getting over at 11, 12, 1 o'clock. It's been buggers. So it's been good, Pacman. Good to have you, of course. Always, it's always good talking baseball with you. We appreciate all the comments. If you guys like what you see, go ahead and like the channel, share the channel. Say any word on job plan. It's still up in the air on John Moran. He's a game time decision. The last I heard. All right, so make sure y'all follow NBA Central, Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central, Chicago Sky Central, and the Cognac Gang, the Shy Bulls podcast. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. If you need to email us, you can email us at ChicagoBaseballCentral@gmail.com or hit us with a voicemail 773-389-6954 so we can do a mailbag episode. Real soon, we're going to do a live call of one of these games, Pac-Man. We're going to chill, crack a few cold ones, and then watch the game with the gang.
Bet it up.
All right, y'all. So we're going to see y'all next time. Peace. Hold on, wait. I think I got another comment real quick. Oh, yeah. It's all love from the fam. Appreciate you, Brody. Peace.
Welcome to the #1 place for all Chicago baseball.